Welcome to Thursday. On today's show, we have a housing cost problem, but it's not the problem you think it is. Yeah, of course I'm going to talk about the tariffs and issues in the bond market. First up, we're not out of the woods because the United States has jacked up their tariffs to 125% on China. China will retaliate. This will cause issues for everyone, even if we're not involved in this tariff shit. And as a reminder, Canada and Mexico have our own tariff concerns outside of what's happened this week. Let's just recap what happened this week, because there is fuckery about. First off, these tariffs were announced Monday. And then there was a leak that these tariffs would be paused for 90 days, which caused that spike right there. But that leak was fake news. And the tariffs kept on going until yesterday. And then early yesterday, on his Truth Social, Trump posted this: "It's a great time to buy." And then an actual 90-day pause on tariffs came into play. Now, if you don't follow Unusual Whales, you should, because Unusual Whales tracks the stock market and unusual things that happen. Like when U.S. government officials just happen to buy or sell stocks right before a major decision by the U.S. government. There's that fake announcement again. There's the real announcement. Before Trump announced the pause, there was a huge purchase of QQQ, which is an ETF. It was bought for 85 cents and ran as high as $31 per contract. Got that? Each contract was bought for 85 cents and it became as valuable as $31. Before any news, later in the day, it rallied 2,000% in 10 minutes. Why was this unusual? Pause to read. Somebody took a bet that this was a sign. And apparently that bet paid off. Now, this was on Market Watch. Punishing bond market sell-off likely forced Trump's 90-day tariff delay. I disagree. I don't think he gives a shit. But why is this important? Because there was a bond market sell-off. This is the 10-year treasuries over the last week. See it climbing here? Now, this tends to be the opposite of a stock. When you buy a stock, the value of the stock goes up. When you sell a stock, the value of the stock goes down. For bonds, it's the opposite. When you sell bonds, the yield goes up. When you buy bonds, the yield goes down. Let me explain in simple terms. So let's say you buy a $10 bond and it's going to pay you $1 a year for the next 5 years. So you're going to get $5 for your $10 bond. But the value of the bond is going down because you're selling. So now that $10 bond is selling for $9 or $8 or $7. But what it's paying in interest doesn't change. So let's say you buy a $7 bond and it's still going to pay you $5 in interest. That means the yield is going up, because $5 of interest on $7 is more of a yield than $5 of interest on $10. And that's why yields go down when people are buying, because the price becomes inflated. That $10 bond becomes $11 or $12, and it's still paying $5 over 5 years. And getting $5 back off a $12 investment, that's a smaller yield. You following? Anyway, yields are going up. And yields are probably going up because people were leveraged and needed money. So they were selling their bonds. And that's not good. And that's why there's still concerns there's going to be a massive recession. That and the fact that, we have no idea what's happening from one day to the next. All right, we have a housing problem brewing. The good news is that the cost for pre-existing housing is falling. Rents are falling across the country, and I've mentioned that home sale prices are going to come down somewhat. So the cost of what's on the market right now is coming down. But the cost of what we're going to build is going to go up. It's going to go up in the US, for sure. It's going to go up here somewhat. Either way, the cost of building is more than the market price for homes, which is an issue. But on top of that, the cost of building is going to go up. Now, aside from material costs going up, we also have a labor problem. And it's in what we call unskilled trades. So framers, tilers, stuff that you don't need a certificate for. But stuff that's still a skill. Like, you still have to learn how to do this properly. This is why I had an issue with our immigration policy. Because we were bringing in the wrong types of people. There's nothing wrong with the people themselves, but they don't address the problems that Canada has. Ironically, the United States is deporting the people that we need. Yeah, there's a wealth of this knowledge in Latin America. Oh, and gold is going up. It's almost double what it was 5 years ago. I have said this many times over the last several months, and it's just a reality. The cost of building homes has a floor because there's material cost and there's labor cost. And right now the cost is higher than the market price for a home. So building will stop. Resale home values tend to rise up to meet new home values somewhat. You understand that, right? Like there's a new home that's 2,000 square feet and a 10-year-old home that's 2,000 square feet. They're pretty much the same thing. You're going to expect that 10-year-old home is a little less expensive, but not a lot less expensive. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. Is it going to happen soon? Probably not. No, we're in the shit. No, the first thing that's going to happen is construction will stop. Then demand will have to go up so that we get back into construction again. And when that happens, we're going to have the people that can do construction. Now let's hope there's no more surprises.